this is Lorraine. I have been breastfeeding for 15 months. Did I imagine myself to be here at this point? No. Do I enjoy it? Not really. My baby really loves it. So, I'm going to answer some questions about breastfeeding, since basically I'm a pro. So, first question. Melissa asked, did you use anything to help produce more milk? Also, how often do you express? Never added anything to my diet. I know there's teas and stuff on the market that you can use that are supposed to help produce more milk. I know there's all kinds of things that you can do that are supposed to help produce more milk. I never had to, and I seem to be continuing to produce a sick amount of milk. Not like where my boobs hurt anymore. In the beginning they would hurt a little bit if I wasn't feeding him. If I'd skip a feeding, they would actually start to hurt. But I produced enough milk on my own. I got lucky that way. How often do I express? That means like take it out myself, I think. I never do. I think that's what that means. I never pump or anything like that. In the beginning I tried pumping a couple times and it was fine, but it's really a lot of work to do the pumping and the breastfeeding at the same time. I'm sure you can make it work, especially if you have your baby sleeping at one point and then you pump then and whatnot, but I've never really gotten into the groove of pumping, so yeah. So it's basically just been me. Chantel asked, how do you handle breastfeeding in public? I've heard a ton of controversy over it. What's your opinion? I'm not a big fan of, I'm not a pro breastfeeding person. I'm really the kind of person that do what's right for your baby. Some people are not going to produce milk. So what's right for your baby is obviously going to be formula. You just want to do what works for you. You don't want to do anything that makes life uncomfortable for you and your child. So you just want to make everything great for you and your child. So I'm not a big like pro breastfeeding. I'm just basically pro do what works for you. So breastfeeding in public, I really never really breastfed in public, and it's not because I'm ashamed to do it. I just didn't feel the need to do it. I would kind of breastfeed, like if I knew I was going out, I would breastfeed beforehand. If I knew that we were going to go like into the mall or something, I would turn on the air conditioning in my car and sit in the back seat and breastfeed in the back seat of my car. I have that luxury that I have a vehicle, that I was comfortable, and it just was nice. I could like put on my like little like Hulu or Netflix on my phone and watch something. I just kind of enjoyed, I like my car time and everything. I have breastfed in public, and no big deal. I've gone into the bathroom and breastfed if I need to. I'm not like a person that's gonna go flop their boobs out. If you do, that's fine, whatever. It just wasn't for me. So I just kind of like timed my situations properly, just because I had that luxury. If I didn't necessarily, but like when I first started breastfeeding, I had to breastfeed every 2 to 3 hours, more like every 2 hours. But I would never be somewhere where I was gone for like that period of that, like more than 2 hours. So I felt like I could do it comfortably somewhere where I just felt like I could just, you know, just relax. It was just kind of like my relaxing time. So my opinion is kind of just whatever. I'm not pro anything. I'm just really just do what's right, if that makes sense. So I don't feel like people need to feel one way or the other. I think if everyone just kind of stopped being like, oh, pro breastfeeding or anti-breastfeeding, and you just did it, it wouldn't be a discussion. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would just be like, it would just be. But people make it like so up and so down that it just can't just, It just can't be there. That's where I am. That's my level, is like right in between. However, the very first days at home, my baby is a week old today and her feeding schedule is crazy. I want to know I'm not alone. I remember the first days are awful because it felt like all you were this you were this person that was just always feeding your baby. That's all you did. That's all I ever did, was just, I'd be feeding the baby. And for my own sanity, and I suggest for your own sanity too, get out of the house at least once a day. You have to get out of the house at least once a day, whether it's just to go for a walk with the baby, or put the baby in the car seat and go to the grocery store, just whatever. You just need to go and get out of the house at least once a day, because even now, if I'm at home all day, he'll want to breastfeed. And it's just because we're in a comfortable environment and he'll just want to breastfeed. But if we're out all day, he doesn't breastfeed at all during the day, and he only breastfeeds in the morning and at nighttime. But if we're at home, he'll want to breastfeed at some point during the day. So it'll be like 3 times a day. That's what we're at now. But if we're out all day, it's only 2 times a day. It does lessen, but for a while it seems like that's all you're doing. So don't feel bad. You just kind of have to realize that it's going to be about every 2 hours, or 3 if you're lucky, but it's really more about every 2. And this is not what you want. Do you want me to open it for you? Oh, there you go. But it won't last forever, but you just kind of, if you time it, you can still do things in between, but I know how you feel. Like, it feels like it just consumes you. For Graham, he breastfed literally like maybe 10 minutes. I know when they first told me you're supposed to go on one side and then try to give them the other. If I offered him the other side, he would drink it all. He would drink from both sides and then he'd end up vomiting. So I would actually just feed him from one side, and then I would just skip on the other side, just remember which side I fed him on the last time, and then go to that boob the next time. And then it was still every 2 hours, but I didn't have a fussy baby because I wasn't overfeeding him, if that makes sense. Some babies need to have more, but he would actually like throw up if he drank too much, because they say they'll just take what they need, but he took more than what he needed. Ashley asked, did you ever have nipple discomfort, and did you ever try to give him a bottle? I never really experienced nipple discomfort at all. I was told, I don't know if this is true, but I was told if you get the perfect latch, that you will not have any discomfort. So if the baby is latching on the way that they should be, you won't have any discomfort. And I never had any discomfort. Every once in a while I will have sore boobs, and it's more associated with him sometimes wanting to pinch on my nipples, which is a whole new ball game now that he wants to pinch on my nipples, which is awful. But sometimes I just let it be. So sometimes I'll have sore nipples because of the pinching. He doesn't bite, but he does pinch a little bit. Like he'll be sucking on the one boob and then he'll be pinching the other one. And I'm like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. And then if I'm like, ow, sometimes he'll look at me and start crying. So I'm like, just go ahead and do it. But yeah, nipple discomfort, no. Did I ever try to feed him a bottle? Yes. I pumped a couple times and I fed him from the bottle a couple times and it was fine. There's really not much to say about it. He fed from the bottle just fine. I probably should have stuck with pumping a little bit more, because I think that I could have maybe gotten him off of my boobs a little sooner. Then he's still going and going strong. But yeah, it was fine. Whatever. I think I took a breastfeeding class, so I highly recommend taking a breastfeeding class if you're a new mom. It's interesting to get all the information. You can get the information from everywhere, but to go take a class, you get all this information. Doesn't mean just take that and that be it, but also like look up stuff and whatever. But I highly recommend a breastfeeding class because it answers so many questions and it's so good. I took a breastfeeding class. And the other thing is, when you have the baby in the hospital, make sure you ask several times. I did another breastfeeding video, so go watch that if you haven't already. But I asked the nurse, like different nurses that would come in, I asked them to help me show me how to breastfeed, because I just wanted to feel comfortable doing it, and I wanted to I really wanted to work out what felt right, because at first it didn't feel necessarily like the way I was holding him didn't feel right breastfeeding. The latch was fine, and I couldn't always get him like latched on, but now it's not a problem. But the nurses really, really will help you so much, so don't be afraid to ask them, and ask them many times. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you. Scott asked, if you drink chocolate syrup, does your baby get chocolate milk? Obviously, I think so, because my milk is like something amazing and he never wants to stop drinking it. So obviously I have like liquid gold coming out of my boobs because my child just won't stop. Lisa asked, did you ever pump to let dad have some of the feedings? If so, was there any nipple confusion? I believe in my class that that they said you introduce the bottle at like 3 weeks or something like that. I can't remember. If you watch my other video, I think I remember exactly when they said to introduce the bottle. And there was no nipple confusion. However, he didn't take certain bottles, so you have to kind of play with it to see which bottles that he liked. He did like the Tommy TP bottles, and he's about to open the door and go out the door. Excuse me. Kathy asked, has Graham ever bit you while breastfeeding? My baby does that and makes me want to quit. He's bit me, like, he'll look up at me and he's like gone like, and he's bit me that way. And I told him no and he stopped, but he does pinch my nipple. So I feel your pain. He's never really bit me while breastfeeding though, but he pinches the nipple and it hurts so bad. He'll squeeze it and squeeze it, but the problem is I make him fall asleep at nighttime by breastfeeding him to sleep, which is, you know, what I really shouldn't be doing, but it works because he sleeps all night long. But I need to somehow figure that out. It's all a learning experience, but yeah, I feel you because he pinches and it hurts. He never bit, but the pinching, I feel you. Ask, how about a tutorial? Well, come here, Graham. Come here. I'm just kidding. Samantha asks, any signs of weaning? At this point, I don't think so. He still breastfeeds when he first wakes up, and he still breastfeeds when he goes to sleep. What are you doing? But he's like pulling his diaper. It doesn't seem like he's ready to wean yet. I'm gonna try to let him self-wean. I have some things I'm doing, which I can talk about in another video, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it yet. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post them below. I have a couple more, but my battery is going to die. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them below, and I will talk to you all very soon with another video. See, look at this. This is a problem. This is a problem with a toddler breastfeeding. They pull down your shirt. Are you trying to go in there? It's because he's bored. It's because mommy's not paying attention to him right now, so he wants to go into my boob. So this is what happens when you breastfeed a toddler. They pull out your boob to the best of their ability, and then they put the nipple in the mouth. Okay, so I'm going to go now, but I do have other questions I need to answer, so that'll probably be up tomorrow. So if you have any other questions, post them below, and I will answer all of your questions. Okay, goodbye.